Hey, call it what it is. Round 7, special edition, call it what it ain't. Today we're going to flip the script. We're going to start out by calling things what they are, and then reveal the terms that people in emotional repression assign to these same things, thereby calling it what it ain't. First up, anger repression. We're calling it what it is. When someone buries and represses anger in childhood in order to stay safe and get love from their family of origin in the world, their tendency is to do things and behave in ways that would generally be deemed good. Think about it. If you buried and repressed anger because you believe it's bad, you're going to do the opposite. And you're going to be a good boy or a good girl. One who holds dear a lot of virtues and values like love, compassion, and kindness. But that's calling it what it ain't. Those aren't real virtues and values. Those are the way that you protect yourself from your buried rage. Now, same coin, different side, hurt repression. We're calling it what it is. When people bury and repress hurt and other vulnerable emotions like grief and sadness in their bodies in childhood, their tendency is to do things or behave in ways that would generally be deemed strong or tough. It's the best way to keep away from that pesky buried sadness. So, you'll generally find a lot of hurt repressors holding on for dear life to ideals and beliefs around things like strength, power, courage, and truth. But again, I gotta call calling it what it ain't on those hurt repressors. Those aren't real ideals and beliefs. Those are the ways that you protect yourself from your buried grief. Now, back to anger repressors, who, as we know, due to their emotional repression mechanism, aren't allowed to get angry or powerful. And so, since they aren't, nobody else should be able to either. And so, if we're going to call the average anger repressor's attempts to control the anger of others what it ain't, it's going to sound something like this. Everybody just needs to be more empathetic. Everybody just needs to be more equal. Demanding empathy and equality is a classic anger repressor move, and it's the way that they stay safe from their buried anger. Same principle, flip the coin. Your hurt repressors, who have a ton of demands on themselves to not appear weak or vulnerable, certainly do not want anyone else to present that way either. So guess what they do? Since they're already overcompensating and pretending to be strong, they expect everybody else to do the same. And so their overcompensation and fear of vulnerability, if we're going to call it what it ain't, becomes an imitation of and call for confidence. Or a demand, as they would say, to man up. It's backwards. Manning up, if we're going to call it what it is manning down. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, what do anger repressors do when other people do get angry or powerful or dominant in front of them? Good question, short answer. They punish them, but in a very tricky way, since anger repressors aren't allowed to show their anger. Many an anger repressor, instead of calling this subtle form of punishment what it is, which is judgment, disconnection, belittling, and guilt tripping, will call it what it ain't. Holding someone accountable, or sometimes setting boundaries or canceling. And here's the thing, holding someone accountable or setting boundaries is a good thing, but if you're in anger repression, they're weapons. So what's the hurt repression version of this? Well, seeing as how hurt repressors don't have to hide their anger, they just go to general quarters. If they see somebody acting weak, vulnerable, sad, hurt, or scared, they just go for it. They name call, they threaten, they bully, and they say things like, "This is war." So if we're going to call hurt repressors terror of their own buried feelings and resultant going on the offensive and attack of others what it ain't, let's call it what they call it. Setting people straight, defending and standing up for myself. Ain't what it is, folks. That's a child's reaction to being hurt and not knowing what to do with it. So, whether you're an anger repressor or a hurt repressor, the good news is that none of these mental emotional gymnastics are necessary if you resolve your emotional repression. If you'd like to start doing that, then tap the link in the caption or the bio.